The rooster does not check the time. He never has. He sings when the first light touches the ridge, and that is the only alarm you will ever need. You wake slowly, not because you are tired, but because there is no reason to rush. The day is long. The sun will wait. And somewhere outside your window, the world is already at work. The birds are nesting. The dew is evaporating. The vegetables in the garden are reaching toward the sky, growing in that quiet, determined way that plants have. This is peaceful countryside life. Not the kind you see in movies, polished and perfect. The real kind. The kind where your hands get dirty, where your back gets sore, where you go to bed tired and wake up grateful. Today, I am taking you with me, into the fields, into the garden, into the heart of simple farm living, where harvesting fresh vegetables is not a chore, but a celebration. Welcome to Epic Garden Life, where we believe that the best life is not the busiest one, it's the one with room to breathe, room to grow, room to simply be. Today, we are harvesting. We are feeding the soil. We are living slowly, on purpose, and finding joy in the smallest moments. Let us begin. The morning is cool, the way it always is before the sun climbs too high. I pull on my boots, the ones with the worn soles and the laces that have been tied and untied 1,000 times. I grab my basket, the old one with the handle that has molded itself to my grip, and I step outside. The air hits my face, fresh and clean, carrying the scent of cut grass and damp earth. I take a deep breath. This is the moment I look forward to every single day. The moment when the house is still behind me and the garden is waiting ahead. The vegetable patch is not large, but it is enough. Enough for me, enough for my family, enough to share with neighbors and still have leftovers for canning and freezing and drying. I have learned over the years that a garden does not need to be huge to be abundant. It just needs to be loved. And this one is. I start with the lettuce. It is early and the leaves are still crisp with dew. I cut them at the base, letting the outer leaves fall away, leaving the inner ones to keep growing. Lettuce is generous that way. If you treat it right, it will give you harvest after harvest, week after week, until the summer heat finally makes it bolt. The leaves are tender, almost translucent, with edges that curl and crinkle like old parchment. I place them gently in the basket, on top of a damp cloth to keep them from wilting. Next, the kale. This is the workhorse of the garden. It survives the frosts of spring and the heat of summer. It keeps producing long after everything else has given up. I pull the leaves from the bottom of the plant, the oldest ones first, leaving the new growth at the top to continue feeding. The kale is dark green, almost blue, with a texture that is both sturdy and soft. It will be sautéed with garlic or added to soups, or massaged with lemon juice and olive oil for a salad that actually tastes like something. The radishes are ready too. I can tell by the way their red shoulders push up through the soil, demanding to be seen. I grasp them by their leaves and pull gently. They release easily, popping out of the ground with a satisfying sound. The roots are round and firm, the color of a sunset. The greens are still fresh, peppery and sharp, good for pesto or for throwing into a stir-fry. I brush off the loose dirt and drop them into the basket. The carrots are trickier. You cannot see them until you pull them, and there is always a moment of suspense, a small thrill when you grasp the green tops and tug. Will it be long and straight? Will it be twisted and forked? Will it be thick or thin? Each one is a surprise. Today, they are beautiful, orange and sweet with that intense carrot smell that fills the kitchen when you slice them. I leave the smallest ones in the ground to grow a little longer. Patience is a skill that gardening teaches you, whether you want to learn it or not. The beans are climbing up their poles, their white flowers turning into slender pods that hang like tiny green curtains. I run my hand along the vines, feeling for the ones that are still smooth before the seeds inside have begun to swell. Snap them off at the stem. They go into the basket with the other vegetables, adding their bright green to the mix. Later, they will be steamed, or blanched and frozen, or pickled with dill and garlic. There are never too many beans, only more ways to preserve them. The zucchini are hiding under their broad leaves. You have to search for them, push the foliage aside, get down on your knees, and really look. That is when you find them. Small and tender with the flower still attached, or large and heavy, perfect for bread. I take a mix of both. The small ones will be grilled. The large ones will be shredded and turned into loaves that fill the house with the smell of cinnamon and summer. By the time the basket is full, the sun has climbed higher. The dew is gone. The birds have quieted. I walk back to the house, my arms heavy with food that was growing just minutes ago. There is no plastic packaging, no expiration date to check, no label telling me where it came from. I know exactly where it came from. I put the seeds in the ground. I watered them. I weeded around them. I watched them grow, and now I am eating them. That is the circle. That is the miracle. But harvesting is only half of it. A garden does not maintain itself, so after I have put the vegetables away, after I have washed the lettuce and dried the kale and stored the carrots in a jar of water to keep them crisp, I go back outside. There is always more to do. The weeds have returned. They always do. It does not matter how many times you pull them, they come back, persistent and patient, as if they have all the time in the world. I kneel down in the dirt and start pulling. Chickweed, lamb's quarters, purslane. Some of them are edible, and I set those aside for salad. The rest go into the compost pile, where they will break down and become next year's soil. The tomatoes need staking. Their branches are heavy with fruit, and the weight is pulling them down. I drive a wooden stake into the ground beside each plant and tie the main stem with a piece of soft twine. Not too tight. The plant needs room to sway. The green tomatoes are everywhere, clustered together like grapes. Some are already showing color, the first blush of pink or red or yellow, depending on the variety. I talk to them as I work. You are doing well, I tell them. Keep going. You will get there. The peppers are smaller, but they are coming. Jalapenos, bell peppers, something long and thin that I cannot remember the name of. Their flowers are still opening, white and delicate, promising fruit in the weeks to come. I water them carefully, aiming the hose at the base of the plant, avoiding the leaves. Wet leaves lead to disease. That is one of the first lessons every gardener learns. The chickens are watching me from their run. They scratch and peck and murmur to each other, waiting for me to finish with the vegetables so I will come and give them their own food. They are patient too, but not that patient. One of them, the bold one with the red feathers, comes to the gate and looks at me with her head tilted. She knows. She always knows. I fill their feeder with grain and scatter a handful of scratch on the ground. They rush toward it, kicking up dust, squabbling over the best pieces. The rooster stands apart, watching the sky, watching the fence, watching for danger. He does not eat until he is sure his hens are safe. I refill their waterer, scraping out the green algae that has grown since yesterday. Clean water is important. They will not drink dirty water, and I do not blame them. The goats are in the pasture, lying under the big oak tree. They see me coming and they stand up, stretching, yawning, ambling toward the gate. I bring them a bucket of kitchen scraps, potato peels, carrot tops, the outer leaves of the cabbage. They eat everything, their rough tongues wrapping around my fingers. Their coats are thick and soft, and when the sun hits them just right, they shine like copper and gold. I run my hand along the back of the oldest doe. She leans into my touch, closing her eyes. This is the part of farm living that no one warns you about, the way you fall in love with the animals, the way they become not just livestock, but friends. The afternoon sun is warm, almost too warm, and I retreat to the shade of the porch. I sit in the old rocking chair, the one that creaks when you lean back, and I look out at the garden, at the chickens, at the goats, at the trees in the distance, their leaves shimmering in the breeze. There is no place I would rather be, no city I miss, no noise I crave. This is enough. This is more than enough. Evening comes slowly. The light softens, the air cools, The animals settle. The chickens put themselves to bed, hopping up onto their roosts, fluffing their feathers, tucking their heads under their wings. The goats lie down in the straw, their sides rising and falling in slow rhythm. The garden is quiet now, the vegetables resting, waiting for tomorrow's sun. I cooked dinner from what I harvested today. A salad of lettuce and radishes, sautéed kale with garlic, roasted carrots and zucchini. Beans steamed until they are bright green and tender. Everything is fresh. Everything is flavorful. Everything is alive in a way that food from a store never is. I eat slowly, savoring each bite. This is what I worked for. This is what I waited for. This is what makes the early mornings and the sore back and the calloused hands worth it. After dinner, I sit on the porch again. The stars are coming out, one by one, scattered across the sky like seeds thrown by a generous hand. The moon is a thin crescent hanging low over the ridge. The crickets are singing. An owl calls from somewhere in the woods. I wrap my hands around a mug of tea and I listen. This is the part of the day I loved the most. The quiet, the stillness, the feeling that time has stopped, or maybe that it never mattered in the first place.
This is peaceful countryside life. It is not easy, it is not glamorous, but it is real. It is honest. It is good. And if you listen closely, you can hear it calling to you too. Not to sell everything and move to a farm, just to slow down, to pay attention, to grow something, even if it is just a single tomato plant on a windowsill. To cook something, even if it is just an egg from a chicken you know by name. To sit in the quiet, even if it is only for 5 minutes. Because the countryside is not just a place, it is a state of mind, and you can find it anywhere. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you harvest today? It does not have to be from a garden. It could be a moment of peace, a small joy, a decision to slow down. Drop your answer in the comments below. Let us build a community of people who believe that simple living is not a retreat from the world. It is a deeper way of being in it. And if this video brought you a moment of calm, if you believe that the best things in life are not things at all, hit that subscribe button for Garden Life Epic. We're here every week to remind you that the soil, the seeds, the seasons, these are not outdated. They are essential. They are home. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode, where we are going to show you how to preserve your harvest so you can taste summer all winter long.